Welcome back. I am starting this off again with another, what I think is a funny story, but also a situation that I just find myself in these awkward situations. So I was at the nail salon the other day,
Okay.
and there was a girl behind me also getting her nails done, and she was taking which I'm curious what your thoughts are. She was taking a work call from the nail salon, which I see that all the time.
Yeah.
However, she was on Zoom.
No.
Okay.
Immediate no. It's like
Well-
FaceTiming in public.
Well,
I
okay.
don't like it.
Well, okay. So this leads me to the awkward situation.
Okay.
She's behind me and she's got her computer up and she's on a Zoom work call and she has a background on that's like a blue background. Like it's like a, one of those fake,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm sitting in front of her, whatever. Our chairs kept kind of bumping into each other.
Okay.
So I turned around to just adjust the chair and kind of see like what's going on so I could like try and scooch my chair away from her. And I turned around and I did have like a quick glance over at her screen. My face.
Oh, you like broke
It
the third
popped up.
wall. Oh, I'm cracking up. That's insane.
It popped up next to her like a floating head of me.
Oh my
and she
gosh.
was in the middle of talking. And I like turn around, whatever. And then there it is, my face, like it popped out of the blue screen and it's like just a floating head next to this girl who's on a business call.
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't like listening to the ins and outs of the conversation.
Anything?
No, because I saw it and I was like, oh shit. And I like turned back around and then like this was me for the rest of the time at the nail salon.
Afraid to.
So actually, like, curious, what are your thoughts on taking calls while you're, because the fact of the matter is, like, respect to that woman, right? Like, she needed to get her nails done and she's working.
Mm-hmm.
But do you take them when they're like,
no
video?
I think Zoom is like where you draw the line.
Right.
I think that
I would think so too.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I think it's
especially after
kind of rude to the other patrons.
Right. Or we don't know her situation though. This could have been like her two people that were maybe like her interns.
Okay.
And
you are always like making, like finding that. No, I think it's okay. Like, listen, I don't go to the salon or like anywhere in like a public situation to like make calls. I think it's like a little bit rude, and especially like in certain situations, like people are there to like, relax and whatever.
Right.
If I do make a call, like I put my headphones in and I'm like very conscious to be quiet and like hope to keep it brief. But yeah, I think that's like an extreme to be like on a Zoom with a background. Like that's just extreme, and like whatever happens, that's on her.
Yeah. My floating head happened. That's what happened to her. So we didn't talk about it afterwards. Like when she ended the call, like I was waiting for her to like maybe like, I don't know.
You thought she was going to turn around.
I don't know. Just be like, oh, that was weird. But like
obviously she doesn't think it's weird. She's taking Zooms from.
Yeah. So that's my funny random story of something that just happened to me.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, we're in the full swings of summer here. I'm here to say that traveling with kids is just like traveling with kids. Like it's amazing to like travel. It's amazing to be on vacation, but it's still, everyone says it, but it's just like the same routine in a different
It's also
place.
for like you rented a house too, which is like then you really have to think about like everything. You're not going to somebody else's house. You're not going to like an in-laws or a parents or anything like that. Like when you are renting,
you bring everything that you need, and like in a sense, it's nice because like a hotel can be really non-conducive. Right. So it's nice to be able to like set it up and make it your own.
Totally.
But also, I feel like there's only so much you can see in pictures of like, like there were stairs everywhere. My like babies, like we just like could not sit down for 3 seconds because like God forbid she like took a header down like the random stairs. Yeah. But it was lovely. And then I came home a couple days ago, and the next day we went from the Hamptons to Sesame Place, which is just like the highs of the highs to the lows of the lows. Yeah, Sesame Place is definitely, there's no like you're home from vacation like back to reality like Sesame Place. So this is my issue with Sesame Place. It's like too baby for a toddler, but it's also like too big for a toddler. Like the rides are like too rides. Big for yeah. So the only thing that is similar, the only parallel between the Hamptons and Disney is the price of the food. Yeah. You are gonna, like you're robbed in both places. Always. So yeah, parks. Yeah. But that's we're back. Yeah, and we're back with a great episode. Today we are talking all things keeping your kids home versus sending them to daycare, school safety. It is August. People are thinking about this stuff. I personally know that Chelsea has really been thinking about this stuff. If you want to talk a little bit about like what you're, I mean, this is like, we're probably going on a year saga here. So we'll just like take it back a little bit. I feel like this is so relatable. I want it to be relatable because I feel like I'm going through it so much right now. But, right, you're like someone relatable. Yeah, I'm like, please let it be relatable. Yeah. So, in my career, I had a lot of flexibility. And from the moment I had my kids, I had 6 months off. And then I had the flexibility to have help at home. It's a luxury, obviously. Yeah. And from, the time I went back to work until I stopped working like 6 months ago, a little bit more, I was able to work from home and have my kids at home with me. I never really considered daycare just because I had that flexibility, but I'm not working now and like my situation is changing. And the saga of what to do next, which I can get into, has been a saga.
Yeah. When I had my first, I went back to work at 10 months.
Yeah.
So, and for me, it was never, I just never thought about hiring somebody to help me. I was just like immediately, and maybe it's the difference between like, I was in the suburbs at that point, and I knew I didn't know enough about the suburbs where I was to make sure that she was going to get like what she needed socially.
Yeah.
So I was very, very pro daycare, and I sent her to daycare at 10 months old. And then with my second, even though I didn't go back to work, I felt like that did so much for my first socially that I was like, I'm going to do that with her. I sent her at 1 year old.
Yeah, I think to your point, you know, I never really thought about the socialization that much. I feel like there was all these organic classes I was doing and I was taking him out, and you know, my help at home was doing all these things with him, and he was young, and like I just like wasn't really concerned with the socialization. And I think like now there's a little bit of a shift. It's so multifaceted. Number one, there's this social pressure, at least where we live in like our friend group. The social norm is like by the time your kid is 2, they are going to daycare of some sort. I don't think that that's like the norm at a lot of like in a lot of areas. Like I think most kids, I think that like a lot of kids wait until like pre-K, whatever, but for some reason, like where we are. So I think like there's this social aspect of like when I look around, like all of his friends are in school and I'm like, like he's not. And obviously like you want to make the best decision for your kid. So like you start thinking like, okay, like, is he missing out on things? Like, should he be like, whatever? Are there any differences?
Totally.
I think the other thing is now that I'm not working, there's so much pressure on me to make sure he's getting those socializations. So like I'm taking him to classes, I'm taking him to the park, like I'm doing play dates, like whatever. And like it is certainly like a lot of work to make sure that like he is getting everything that he would be getting if he was in a different setting.
Yeah.
I also feel like on the flip side of that, you know, like they are only this little for like such a short period of time. Like I feel like it's probably like a little bit selfish, but a huge part of like why I'm making this decision is I am just so happy and like I love spending this time with him. Like every day I'm like, I got to spend all day with him.
Right.
And it's hard for me to think about sending him off and like not spending time with him when I know for the rest of like his life, like he's going to be at school from, I don't know, whatever, 8 to 3 or whatever. So but I do feel like he's getting older and there's like this transition happening.
That's what I was going to say is he's getting older now, right? Like he, at some point this year, he will turn 4.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's also this shift of like, you want him to socialize more and all this stuff. But you said to me the other day too, that like, you're a little worried about the winter because like, you don't want him to be bored. Like he's an active kid and you're going to be sitting there trying to figure out things to do. And the fact of the matter is his friends that he has out here are all in school.
100%.
So what are your, you know, feelings and thoughts? What are you thinking about like this winter is going to, because in the summertime it's easy to get him out,
it's like
do things, whatever.
Yeah, we're outside.
Winter, it's snowing, it's hard. His friends are in school. He's turning 4 years old. Like what's your mindset on all of that?
So my mindset is I'm so torn.
Yeah.
Like that's the truth. Like, you know, like we've toured all the schools. I think I've been to every single school in this area, which we're going to get into a little bit later because Rachel's been like a big part of that, but we've toured all the schools and I'm just like, I think what it is, like I'm desperately trying to find something that like to me is going to like tip the scale and make me be like, this is where you should send him because this is going to like make your decision so easy because you're going to love the school so much. And like, obviously, like I think like anything, like nothing is perfect. And I found like an issue with every single school.
Of course, you always will. And by the way, I want to mention too, like since I worked in special education for over 10 years, or about 10 years, I was in schools that whole entire time. And so for me, when I was looking at schools too, I had such
pressure,
so many things that I wanted the boxes to check.
Yes.
And I do feel like I have 2 very, very different kids.
Yes.
One kid, I was more like academics are feeling much more important to me and making sure that she's like academically challenged. And another kid, I'm feeling like social is more important for her and making sure that she's like having separation from me and socializing. Ultimately, the reason why because I also had, by the way, I was really torn too. I'm like, I am a teacher.
Yeah.
I literally have a master's degree in this stuff. And I'm going to go send my kids at this age to somebody else to learn when like, can I do this myself?
Can you offer them more?
Can I maybe even offer them more? Exactly. Whereas, and I thought about that too, before I was like deciding about daycare. And ultimately what I decided was for me, maybe I can offer more in terms of like, when it comes to learning to read and all these things, letter sounds and all that other stuff, I'm definitely extremely knowledgeable on. But socially. I was like, I don't think I would be doing them a social, what they could get socially if they're in daycare. But anyway, back to kind of touring through the schools, they're not going to check all your boxes. No. They just simply won't. And you just need to determine like, what are the priorities? Is it academic? Is it social? Is it safety? Which we'll get into.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Like, I feel like I get this a lot where people are like, well, he's really on par. Like, how are you doing it? And I'm not like doing that much, candidly, of like, oh, I'm like sitting down and we're doing like homeschool.
Right.
And that's like the thing where I feel like I am a little bit torn, where I'm like, I'm not really doing that much. And like, he is just like every other kid that I'm like, is it that, unless, like, and I always say this, like, I feel like it's really important to like be objective about your kids and like their needs and like what it is that they need. And I'm like, okay, but like if there's nothing that I feel like right now he's missing,
right,
then like, why am I going to do something that like I don't want to do? I don't know. But like, but again, like, I think it's really important to be like objective about yourself and make sure that you're making the best decision, not based off of like the fact that I just don't want to like not have him home. Right. I don't know.
And also have him too, like he's doing a great job socially, but for anyone who has their kid home, still at this age, at 3-4 years old, for anybody who has kids home, it's also important that you're making sure that he is, from an academic standpoint, prepared for pre-K. Because at that point, they are expected to know certain things academically. I think letter recognition,
rhyming,
letter sounds too. Like I mean, they're probably learning some letter sounds in pre-K, but like
the seasons, no, there are like, and of course, like, because I'm a nut job, I'm like making sure that like I'm
you're going to sit down and do these things with him.
Maybe. I don't know. So I feel like it's a long-winded way to say that fall is coming up and I still haven't made a decision, which is kind of crazy. And I feel like I'm just like waiting for the decision to come to me. And like I've crowdsourced, I've done all these things, and I just think like I will figure out what that right decision is. But I'm also already thinking about like pre-K and like all those things. But I'm going to end it here, where the other day I was speaking to somebody who's got their PhD in early childhood education and just like very educated in all of this. And I just like wanted their perspective. And she said something to me that's really like impactful, and it's sort of like left a mark on me, which is like, everybody's circumstances are different. Like, do you have a happy kid? Like, yes. Are you happy? Yes. Like, and at the end of the day, like, some kids might be sending their kids to school. Some parents might be sending their kids to school because they had to, right? Like for work, or some people like don't want to spend, and like respect for this, obviously, like they don't want to spend all day with their kids. Like they need time for themselves, like whatever. And like, my circumstances are different from other people's, and like you just have to make decisions based on like your circumstances. And it's also okay if your circumstances change. Like it's also okay if like I decide to keep him home for a semester, and then I'm like, you know what, like the winter sucks, like he needs to go, I'm gonna send him now, or not even like mid-semester. So I'm trying to let myself off the hook a little bit, but I'll be like stressing out until September for sure.
Well, I will say, no, it's stressful, and it does also feel like everyone, starts their kids at different ages. One of mine was 10 months. I know there's the daycares out here, I think they start at like 8 to 8 weeks old.
No, I have friends that sent their kids at,
right, and then
3
you have
months,
people who
they had to go back to work.
Right, then you have people who don't send until pre-K, and then I think there's even some people who've like skipped pre-K and go right to kindergarten. Regardless, whatever it is, like it is hard. And no matter the age, whether you send them super, super young, you're so emotional because it's like you're still postpartum. They can't speak for themselves. Like that was really hard for me, where I'm like, is she happy? Is she confused? She's napping. At 10 months old, she still has bottles. Somebody else, a stranger, is feeding her bottle. Is she crying? Like all of those things were really, really hard for me, and I was really emotional about it. Sending them that young, of just being like, they don't speak yet, and you're playing this guessing game, you're trusting these strangers. I was hysterical when I had to drop my oldest one off for the first time. Like I was unwell.
Right, and here I am, like he's nearly 4. So,
but what I was going to say, no, because what I was going to say is, even at 4 years old, it's still really hard, because now you've had all this time home with him, and you're like, this is new for him. It's never going to be easy, whether you start them at 4 weeks old or 4 years old. It's not easy.
At some point, you just like have to rip the Band-Aid. And I think that's like where I'm at, where I'm like, okay, when am I ripping the Band-Aid? And like, at this point, what's going to be the easiest transition for him? And like, what does he need? But the moral of the story is that like, I don't know. And I'm not feeling ready. So there's that.
I don't know that you ever will be. It feels like the same thing when people are like, how did you know when you're ready to have kids? Like, are you ever really ready?
No, but you know what? This is an aside, and like, we don't talk about this, but like, I always thought I would send my kids to camp, and like, I'm probably going to get some hate from this, but like now I'm like, why would I ever send my kids to camp?
Do you mean overnight sleepaway camp? Oh,
but like, no shock.
You're talking to somebody who's
I know, and like I always thought I would.
Camp
but, like,
is in my like blood.
I'm like, no shock, right? Like he's 4 and I'm still struggling to like send him pre-K, but I'm like, what? Like, why would I send him away? Like that is 6 weeks without him. But
the
like,
good thing, the good thing is, and I say this all the time to my husband, is they're going to be old enough to decide themselves.
Totally.
He's going to look at you and he's going to be like, Mom, you're letting me go to camp, or
100%.
me, who's a camper, like through and through. I was a director at a camp, like all of those things. I might have a child who looks at me and is like, absolutely not. I want you to sleep at camp. And I have to respect that. They're going to be old enough where they're going to let you know what they want. And that's nice. Because right now we're at an age where we're making these decisions for them.
100%.
But when you can start talking to them about it.
Yeah.
And even then, if my daughter's like, I'm not going to sleepaway camp, I'm probably going to be like, I want you to give it a try. Like, I'll come pick you up, but like, you need to try this. This is something that like could change your life for the better.
So talking about touring schools, when I decided that, I wanted to begin to look at schools for my son, the first thing that I did was contact Rachel. Because for me, the number one concern, I think a lot of parents feel this way, is the safety, especially for really small children who a lot of times, like you said, can't speak. So Rachel was the first call that I made, and she sent me this incredible list of all the safety questions, which like I was like, more the better, that I should be asking when I go into these schools. And Rachel, why don't you tell people like why I asked you? Because you have like this insight that other people don't have, outside of obviously just being like a mom and a teacher, but go ahead.
Right. I've worked in schools for a really long time. I've been on school safety teams, committees. I've been super, super involved. And so I've just, I've learned a lot.
Yes.
So I've come up with like my own crazy checklist of things that people should be looking for. And I have a bunch of things written down that I could share with everyone today. But the list goes.
And this isn't just for people who are starting a new school. Like in our opinion, and what Rachel was saying to me is that like, this is something that at the beginning of the school year, you check with the school, and then you even like recheck with them halfway through the year. So this isn't
and I did that.
Right. And so like, this isn't just for people who are looking at new schools.
Right.
This is something that right now anybody could be talking to their school about in preparation for the school year.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter how long you've been there. So I think that it's important for everyone to know that all of these questions that you're going to ask them, they're going to be responses where they can't share information with you. And that should be expected. There are certain things that these schools are doing behind the scenes that they're just not going to share with you, put in paper, send out via email, whatever it is. And that's good.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me that if they share things over the phone or email you certain safety protocols, it's a red flag?
A huge red flag. Like, for example, the lockdown procedures, those should never be sent to you via email. That should not be floating around outside the building. Your school should be saying to you, you can come in to review this. That doesn't leave the building.
Okay.
So for starters, I think the most important thing that you should ask for is cameras. That's huge. Cameras and where they are outside of the building, who's monitoring them, who's watching them. Do you have cameras? Are they accessible if something happens?
Yes.
And who kind of monitors all that stuff? That's huge. Your school should have cameras, on the playground, all these things.
One of the schools that we actually really liked, we had to pass on because they only had one camera for the entire school, inside and outside, and it was at the front door. They have a big outside playground. There's not one camera on the playground. And like, what if just an accident happens? Like, you would want to like make sure that you review what happened, whatever. So that was huge for us. But yes, please keep going.
Definitely. Yeah. So I started it off with pick up and drop off.
Yes.
All safety around that. So who is in the parking lot or the outside of school when you are picking up and dropping off your child? Do parents enter the building at this time? And is there a way to identify parents who are coming in and out of the building?
It's a lot of hustle and bustle in the morning.
Exactly. And does this continue throughout the school year? By the way, you might see September, October, even November. These things are like, people are wearing their name tags, whatever it is. And then maybe by like March, April, May, these things aren't happening anymore. And that's totally appropriate for you to be like, hey, I've noticed this isn't happening. I'm not okay with it. When it comes to school safety, like there's teacher burnout in the classroom. Yeah. There should never, ever, ever be burnout when it comes to school safety. So it's important, and it's okay for you to kind of reach out to the school and say that. Is there a designated staff member responsible for entry points during drop-off, pickup, and what happens if that person steps away? Who covers? This is something my school's really good about. There shouldn't be just an empty door for anybody to walk into during drop-off and pickup. What is the protocol if somebody other than you is picking up your child, and how is that identity verified? Yeah. So, you're going to fill out those forms in the beginning of the year where it's who's the emergency contact, who's allowed to pick up those kids, but are they using that information?
Right.
Are they actually, if you have a grandparent come pick up the kid or a babysitter, ask your babysitter, did they ask you for identification? And if not, bring that to their attention. And by the way, also, how are the adults in the building trained to handle these unfamiliar adults? Because at the end of the day, you can talk to the principal, the director, the dean, whoever it is, and they can give you these answers. But we all know who the most important people are that are doing this is the people in the moment. Yeah. And those are most likely the teachers. Yeah. Or security. Yes. And how are they identifying you? How are they trained to handle that? once you enter the building and you're on your tour, or you can just ask this at any point, I think it's really important to talk about the protocols and the safety behind the classrooms. So how are doors, what are happening with the classroom doors during the day? Me personally, my opinion is classroom doors should be locked at all times. And that doesn't mean locked and closed. It can mean locked and propped open. It could be locked and closed, whatever it is. But in the event of an emergency, if you need to have your classroom door locked, if all you need to do is just push your classroom door closed and it's locked already,
that's the best.
that is key. Are you having to look for a key? Yeah. What if there's a sub in the classroom? Right. And by the way, if this isn't their protocol, okay, fine. Where is the key? Is it on somebody's body? Because then what if that person's not in the room? Yeah. What if it's a sub? What if, the key was hanging here, but now it's not here anymore? And where's the key? Where's the key? There should be no panic during that time. It should be very matter of fact of how that door gets locked.
Also with doors, one of the questions that I had asked you is what should be the door protocol when the children are out on the playground? Should the doors to the building be open, closed, unlocked, locked? That was one of the questions I remember I had asked you. So if you can give everyone your opinion on that.
Yeah. So that is something, by the way, that I say that you should ask them too, is like, if the kids are on the playground or if they're in the bathroom, what's the protocol? And I think that if the kids are on the playground, it seems like that all teachers have a fob to get into the building. So they should be able to, the buildings are secure minus the teachers who have fobs and security staff who have fobs. So the teachers need to have their fobs on them and they need to be able to get into the building.
Another thing that people should ask, because another school that we toured, the protocol was that the door was just propped open. So when the kids are on the playground, the door was just propped open from the playground where there was obviously like multiple entry points. So like anybody could just go and open up the door when the kids were outside.
Doors shouldn't be propped open. And this was something that I actually talked about with my school is I noticed that doors were being propped open and doors that are meant to be locked. Like these doors have the systems in place that like people are fobbing in. They're the heavy doors, by the way, like when you enter the building too, if you feel how heavy that door is, that's for a reason, right? There's like certain things around the windows. All of that is for a reason. Then if you're putting these things in place for a reason, let them be in that place for a reason. Just because it's more convenient. If the door is propped open inside the school, you have 4 doors propped open. All 4 of those doors are supposed to be locked all day. So that's a big thing. If you notice that, speak up.
Yes.
So it's like in New York City on the trains. It's like, if you see something, say something. I think that's like, you just can't.
You can't be bypassing these things.
Okay, so now when it comes to lockdown, this is what are your lockdown procedures? And like I said earlier, this should never be emailed to you. This shouldn't leave the building, but you should know what is going on. What are the basic procedures during a lockdown? How are parents notified?
Yes.
Which, of course, in the moment of an emergency,
you don't want
it's not, let's notify the parents right away. Like that's not their priority.
Once
the priority is securing
place,
the building, whatever. But in that situation, do they have a plan? And absolutely, they should have a plan. If your school doesn't have a plan for this, but like have a plan of how to notify the parents, how the kids are reunified. What is the reunification plan?
Yes.
Because that needs to be in place. Yes. Because that is a chaotic situation. Where do the parents go during that time? So that's kind of like
those are like those are the ones that there was an in-depth list and we would be happy to continue this. Rachel could share on socials, like please comment below if you want to hear more, but I feel like you kind of covered like at the basic minimum, these are the things that parents should know.
The bare bones of what should be going on in your child's school. And I really want to emphasize that this needs to be happening all throughout the school year. And I think that if you ask these questions now in August or in September when school starts, you're going to get certain answers. And like as parents, it's just really important for us to like be mindful that this is happening all throughout the school year and just remind each other, remind the people in the building, because we can all agree there's nothing more important, I think, than the safety of our kids, especially when you're sending them away to
with somebody else,
other buildings. Yeah,
absolutely.
So like Chelsea said, if you want to hear more on this, I have
plenty more.
I have a whole document of things that you could be asking for and looking for. So let us know.
Yeah.
And comment any questions you have.
Yeah.
Like comment, subscribe. We've got something really exciting coming up. So tune in to next episode because it's going to be a good one.
Bye.